So UFC 327 Prochazka versus Ulberg just took place, and I'm here to break down the whole main card and kind of go through the fights, what happened, what I make of it, and maybe what's next. So yeah, and we're gonna get into it right now. So yeah, the first fight was Cub Swanson versus Nate Landwehr. I'm gonna be honest, I actually missed this fight, or missed up until the end, up until the finish. Basically, the whole fight, Cub Swanson's last fight in the UFC. Veteran, been in the UFC since 2011. It was his last fight, fighting Nate Landwehr, and just dominated him, like dropped him like multiple times, and at the finish he just dropped him like on his arse. Landwehr tried to stand back up, and the ref was like, "No, I've had enough. He's just gonna get damaged too much. He's gonna get too much damage," and just put him out of his misery. So the referee jumped in, and that was that. Cub Swanson had his beautiful send off. He had the whole video and the post fight interview with Joe Rogan, like the whole commemorative montage video the UFC put together. So that was good. He was there with his wife and kids, and it was really wholesome and stuff. And he gets this nice send off. He gets the swan song send off, and yeah, so good for Cub Swanson. So really hard for him. Be a shame. It's a shame. It's a shame to see him go because he's like a big part of the UFC. He's like one of those kind of veteran guys that you always think like you can't really imagine UFC too much without Cub Swanson. So you'll miss him. He has good highlights, and yeah, so good luck to him. Next fight is Reyes versus Walker. Oh my goodness, this fight was. I'm thinking before this fight was going to happen, it's going to be like, this may be a first round knockout. Both these guys are powerful, but they also both have glass chins. And I'm thinking, whoever lands first is going to kind of win, or going to lead up to winning, or the best chance of winning. But it also felt like they had that awareness too. It was like they were both aware that they were both powerful and both had glass chins, that they just didn't engage. For like most of the fight, they just didn't engage, just was leg kick city. You had like Johnny Walker just slamming leg kicks into Reyes, and Reyes just doing the same, not to as the same effect. But I actually thought this fight was like a bit of a robbery. I'll need to go back and watch it again, but I thought it was a robbery. I thought Walker won. What was it, rounds 2 and 3, I believe, or 1 and 2. I can't remember, or maybe even 3. I can't remember. I think Reyes won one round. I think it was round 2, maybe. But I don't think he won. I think Walker won, but whatever. It was an absolute snooze fest regardless. No one won. The fucking fans lost. Everyone lost. No one really won this fight. It was a snooze fest. They both kind of just stared at each other, hand fighting for like 15 minutes. Crowd was booing. You had the everyone in the crowd was turning on their like flashlights and just like waving the thing, and it was like apparently they were chanting like "this is boring" and all that stuff. So yeah, Johnny Walker, Dominic Reyes, hang your heads in shame. This was a god awful fight. This is not the fight I want to see either of these guys in. These guys are not even known for like boring fights. They're known for like high pace fights that are, there's a finish usually and stuff like that. Whether it's them getting a finish or them being finished. That's the whole kind of aspect with these guys. But this was just like, it's always the fights we think there's going to be like a first round knockout that just end up being the most boring or go to a decision or whatever. But yeah, so Dominic Reyes won, not really, but he won on paper, so good for him. I don't think the UFC is really going to reward him after a fight like that though. So yeah. Anyway, next fight was Curtis Blaydes versus Josh Hockett. We went from one of the most boring fights of the year to one of the best, if not the best, fights of the year. I was not making fun of, but yeah, kind of making fun of Josh Hockett's character. This whole week he's been doing this cringy, character where he's like doing these rhymes and like poems and stuff like that at the press conference, at the media day interviews, and I'm like, maybe he'll get a win on Saturday, maybe he doesn't. This is better. He won and he had an absolute barn burner with Curtis Blaydes, and it has absolutely skyrocketed his popularity. I'll get to this afterwards, but I'll break down the fight first. So the fight starts, and immediately within the first I think it was like 20 seconds, Josh Hockett lands like a big right hand, drops Blaydes, and then just starts like unloading on him, like from like Blaydes is obviously trying to like run from side to side to the of the octagon to kind of escape, And at one point, Josh Hockett just starts unloading on Blades, and then the kind of tides turn. They were kind of up against the fence, and then Blades just gets. I can't remember exactly what happened, but Blades just gets in position and just starts unloading on Josh Hockett. Just starts unloading. I thought he was maybe going to get finished, but somehow he didn't. Somehow, either of these guys, somehow they didn't get finished is beyond me, because they were eating heavy shots, especially in round one and round two. So, yeah, Josh Hockett survived that to the end of the round, and Blades won that first round. Second round came out, Josh Hockett done much better. He wobbled Blades like multiple times. There was one time he landed this big right hand, stumbled Blades backwards, and it was also, you could see Josh Hockett in the second round. He was getting really gassed, and the first, obviously, the first he was gassed, and then maybe he got a second win, kind of middle of the second round, and was able to kind of perform better. You know, he was landing bigger shots. He was getting hit by shots. Don't get me wrong, but he was landing the more impactful shots. There was no other real time where Curtis Blades kind of had the opportunity to unload or even clipped or wobbled Josh Hockett. Maybe stumbled, but not wobbled, not rocked at all. Whereas Josh Hockett was doing that to Blades, and he ended up winning round two. And then round three was like a bit of a much slower pace. Like both guys were, gassed at this point. It was round three. They very high paced heavyweight fight. This is one of the best heavyweight fights you'll ever see, because of how high the pace was, how much stuff was going on. They were throwing like constant leverage. There was times where they were just like jabbing, constant jabs, jabbing each other. It was great to see. A lot of clinching. There was a lot of clinching. Curtis Blades was doing really well in the clinch, where he was landing these like kind of uppercuts to the body, kind of softening Josh Hockett. Josh Hockett was doing good with tie clinch. He was landing elbows. Curtis Blades' face was all cut up from the elbows as well, and just from other shots in general. And it was like, you do have to kind of take your hat off to both of them, especially Hockett and especially Curtis Blades, because Curtis Blades isn't really known for fights like that. He's never been in one of those kind of like barn burner fights. He's normally like, he'll get finished, or he has like some like kind of lackluster performance, or maybe he gets like a finish but it's not like that good or whatever. But a fight like that is really good on for both of these guys, because it just shows how much grit and how much toughness they both possess, especially Blades, because Blades is a lot older, and even, well, Blades is older, Hockett has much less experience, so it's good for both of them, whatever category you want to measure age or experience. So it's good for both, and it was a great fight. It will get fight of the night. It's not been confirmed yet, but it will. They both get 100k. Josh Hockett is going to be top. Blade's number 5 ranked. He's probably going to, Josh Hockett, I guess, will get number 5 or 6 or whatever, however the UFC does it, or decides to put them. The people who do the rankings, at least. And yeah, I'm really excited for Josh Hockett now, because the whole thing I said was that during the fight week, it was like he had this character, and he has to have a good performance. But after this, it's like you I can take the kind of cringy character. However, I think what would be better for Josh Hockett, given his fight style, because I was saying that his fight style is really good after this fight. Like, if he has the ability to have these barn burners, these wars, everyone's gonna love him. And to make him more loved, to make him loved even more, would be to refine this character that he has. Instead of doing a lot of these rhymes, maybe there's sometimes, but I think he should just start going like full heel. Like in the fight, he just kept going like that to Curtis Blades. He done it like 5 times. Just like after an exchange, he just go, even before, when they were doing the face off at the during the introductions, like he walked over to Curtis Blades and just went like that right in his face. And then security was like scrambling trying to get him back and stuff like that, because obviously that's their job, and he shouldn't be getting there in the first place. But regardless, he was doing that after every exchange, and it was funny. It was pretty good, because it showed like he was having fun and all that stuff. But for as I was saying, he needs to go heel. He needs to just go full heel, kind of like a Covington in a way, where he refines it. Maybe he goes a bit more attack, like maybe like in a press conference he'll be very like I guess you could say mean, maybe more personal, because that would make him really entertaining. I think he should do that. I'd make him really entertaining. His fight style's entertaining. He just needs a good character, and that's what they should do with Josh Hockett. That's what Josh Hockett needs to do. Yeah, and I'm comparing him to Colby because what I was saying was, Colby had, like, obviously Colby was big because of his character. However, Colby didn't have the fight style to back up his character because it's like Colby's talking about like all this, personal stuff, and then he just goes out and wrestles or whatever, right? And that's like, right, okay, you're just being like you're like just scared or you don't want to strike or whatever, right? Like Colby would strike. Don't get me wrong. Like in the Usman fight, he would strike and stuff like that, but he was never like a knockout guy. He was always like a wrestler guy. Whereas Hockett is like this heavyweight. He's, you know, just been in a war. He's undefeated still. He's 9-0. So he has the ability to back up his character. So I think that's what should be next for Josh Hockett. So great fight, really excited. Good for Curtis Blades too. It just shows he still has that at his age. He still has that kind of toughness in him. So good for him. And I'm excited to see what happens next with Josh Hockett. So yeah, next fight, co-main event, Azamat Murzakanov versus Paulo Costa. This was a great fight too. This was a good fight. Costa at light heavyweight. Costa at light heavyweight is what we needed. He's bulked up. He's on the secret juice. He is rejuvenated. He has new life in him, and we seen that in the fight because in the fight it was kind of at the start, a lot of leg kicks from both guys, and I think it was maybe between what was it, or rather beforehand. Uh, Murzakanov was kind of coming towards Costa, big, heavy hits, or sorry, heavy right hands. He was landing a couple, missing a lot as well, but he was kind of being way more aggressive. Like most of the fight, up until maybe the final round, was Murzakanov just walking Costa down most of the time, even though he was the much shorter guy and all that, and the much shorter reach. He was just walking Costa down and kind of controlling the flow of the fight essentially. Not in terms of striking. Costa was actually winning the first round, and I believe, did he win the second round? I can't exactly remember the exact round who won, but Costa was doing well with leg kicks, and then in the second round, Costa made this change where he started attacking the body a lot, started throwing a lot of body kicks and a lot of teeps, which worked amazing. They got big reactions from Murzakanov. Like you could see when he the impact of the kick was made that Murzakanov was like, whoa, like he was kind of bending over slightly to when he was feeling it. And then Costa started landing a lot of head kicks as well, and that paid dividends towards the finish because he started landing the head kicks in like round two, and a lot of them were getting blocked. Like most of them were getting blocked. Maybe his toe would hit off his head or whatever, right? Like not very impactful. But come round three, after all that kind of attrition had occurred, Costa just kept. I think it was like maybe the midway point around three. Costa just started landing just a lot of head kicks over and over. Like he'd be landing like strikes as well, like right hands and stuff that would be getting through. But at one point he just started throwing head kicks and they just kept landing. Like he couldn't miss, and that's how the finish came because he got wobbled. Murzakanov at one point got wobbled after the head kicks, and then something else happened. I can't remember exactly what happened, and then Costa just landed this big head kick, and it just kind of like rocked Murzakanov. He ended up going down, and the referee had seen enough. Yeah, but also because of the head kicks beforehand that were getting blocked, it was like injuring the left arm of Murzakanov to the point where it was like he didn't throw his left arm because it was just glued to his body because he was getting body kicked, he was getting head kicked, and all that blocking just messes up your forearm like really badly. So that was good from Costa. That kind of really won on the fight towards the end, and it was a great performance from Paulo Costa. He did gas a lot in round two. In round two, you've seen like Murzakanov kind of really push the aggression at the first half of the round, at least against Costa, because you could see maybe it was Costa dealing with this new like muscle he's put on for 205. Maybe his cardio was not the best. This is his first time at light heavyweight with this new frame because beforehand it wasn't really like it was a light heavyweight fight he had against Vittori, but he wasn't like in light heavyweight shape. But now he is, and I think this kind of new muscle he's gonna have to get used to. And he did well. Obviously, he was really gassed in round two, and he done well. So yeah, and yeah, so it was a great fight from Costa. So he's going to be like number six ranked light heavyweight. So who knows? Maybe he fights. Um, he could fight like Ankalaev. Imagine Ankalaev versus Costa. That'd be a good fight. Could fight even Jiri. Obviously, we'll get to that fight next, but he could fight Jiri, who just lost. Any fight, it's Costa. Costa kind of has fun with fights, so it's always good to watch Costa. So yeah, and the fact he got a KO after kind of a wishy washy. Obviously, he's kind of what is he? Did he have two wins at middleweight recently, or like he's now on a 3 fight win streak, but he was on a 2 fight win streak at middleweight, so that's good for him. Um, so yeah, light heavyweight Costa, big fan of it. He should have done it years ago, and yeah, he's in the right place now. So yeah, on to the main event. Prochazka versus Ulberg. My goat, Jiri Prochazka, loses his third, or rather, what is it? His fourth venture to the belt. Obviously, he won the first one, and he's lost the last three, twice against Pereira, and now against Ulberg. And it was really sad, especially afterwards. Like, because obviously, what happened was, or I shouldn't make this all about Yuri because Ulberg won, right? Ulberg won. He beat Yuri, and what happened in the fight was like so they come out and Yuri's landing leg kicks, Ulberg's landing leg kicks too, and it's like at one point, I think it was maybe like a minute in or 30 seconds in, Ulberg like steps back after I think he got leg kicked and his like knee just gives way, and then he just starts like slipping about the octagon. Every time Yuri would kick him, he'd just like almost like fall down, or he would fall down. And it was like since it was only like a minute in, it was like right, Yuri's won. Yuri's won because Uber's on one leg, and that's what I'm thinking the whole time. And it's like okay, and then what Yuri was doing was he was when Ulberg was kind of showing this kind of wobbliness because of his leg, Yuri would just stand in front of him and be like, just like giving him motivation. He'd be like, "Oh, come here, come on! Like, who cares that you're injured? Just keep fighting. We're gonna have a good fight." Like showing mercy. He was showing mercy to Ulberg because he didn't. He like felt bad that he'd already injured his leg like so soon into the fight, and it kind of like instead of just going for the finish, he just wanted to have this good fight because that's who Yuri is. Yuri is like a noble guy. He wants to have a good fight. He doesn't want to win the belt because some guy or because of his opponent's like injury that he didn't really even cause that much. That was kind of like a more of a freak accident. So Yuri does that, and then they're just kind of doing exchanges. Ulberg kind of like stumbles a bit more. I'm thinking it might get stopped at some point because the referee maybe just knows this is going to keep going. And then Yuri's like pushing up to Ulberg. Like I get, they're both kind of moving towards the fence. Like Yuri's kind of pushing towards him, and Ulberg just connects a left hand, a check left hook, clips Yuri right on the chin, and just like knocks him out cold for like a second. He falls straight down to the floor, and he very similar in the way that Pereira finished him. It was like Yuri's just on his knees and he's like just like has no idea where he is. And Ulberg just like ground the pound, and the referee jumps in like 2 seconds later, and that's that. Ulberg's the champ, and obviously really good resilience and toughness from Ulberg not to give up, even though his leg was absolutely like it was compromised. His leg was done for, or almost done for. Apparently, he blew out his knee, so maybe like an ACL. Who knows? We'll need to find out like in a couple of days when he gets a doctor's appointment or whatever, or when he gets seen by a medical professional. Maybe the UFC doctor was doing that right now, but he fought his way back from that injury. Good for him. He's the champ. And what afterwards as well was the interview, the post fight interview. Obviously, Ulberg did his whole thing where it's like Ulberg's a bit of an, or rather, Ulberg is a bit of an NPC. So it's like whatever. It's like he's the champ, and it felt really anticlimactic that when he won, it was like what is good. This is like the least exciting I've ever seen like a championship fight be. Afterwards, it was just like no one really cared because Yuri just lost. And then after that, after the interview with Ulberg, they went to Jiri, and Jiri just, like, he looked like he wanted to cry. He looked like he didn't want to be there because he's just like so regretful because he knows that when he was doing the whole like he when Ulberg was injured and he was like giving him mercy by being like, you know, come here, we're gonna have a good fight and stuff like that, and he knows after the fact he has regrets that he should have just went in for the kill then and there instead of like giving him mercy. And he said as well in the interview, like, you know, this is like one of the biggest mistakes or lessons of my life and all that stuff. So, and he like put his head on the microphone and it just looked like he wanted to cry. It was actually really like tough to watch as well because, you know, Yuri's like one of the most exciting fighters. A lot of people's favorite fighter is Yuri, and it was like to see him like that was really sad. And especially as well because he has like a child, or I think a daughter, coming in like a couple of days, so that's gonna add on top of that, which is obviously a bit annoying for him. But it was just kind of sad to see that post fight interview. But regardless, it was a good. I guess it was a good fight for as long as it lasted. Ulberg, really good for him. You know, he's kind of what, a 10 fight win streak. He's come from the bottom, and now he's the champ. So there you go. He's the champ. He's probably gonna fight who next? I don't know yet. I need to look at the rankings, but good for Ulberg. He's the champ. Yuri sucks. Maybe Yuri should fight Costa, or actually, he should probably fight Ankalaev. Ankalaev Yuri would be a really good fight. So they should do that. But yeah, so that was the UFC 327 recap. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. It really helps out. And if you disagree or you have anything to say about the fights, please leave a comment below. Let me know what you think, and I will see you later. Bye.